All right, well, the start of the ANC's 9th Provincial Conference was delayed by hours. Around 700 delegates are expected to attend the conference to elect new provincial leadership. SABC News reporter Atule Joka is standing by at the conference for an update of the status of the conference. Well, a very good evening to you, Atule. Let's begin here. I mean, we've gotten, I suppose, used to the fact that there will be these delays. Take us through, the day today and really what was the major cause of these particular delays and where we are at this current moment.
Yes, indeed. 12 hours later, we are still sitting here waiting for the conference to begin. It was supposed to start at 10 o'clock in the morning. 12 hours later, it's 10 p.m. now. The conference still has not started yet. A number of reasons were given that some branches come from afar and they did not anticipate that they will travel that far. So they were busy with registration, especially of the two biggest regions, which is the Southern Cape and the La Omar regions, which were busy with their registrations. The ANC conference was supposed to sit last year with other conferences before the national conference. The first rumors that we heard about the conference that was going to sit were in May last year. It did not sit, and then the official report that came out from the leadership was that it's going to sit on July, but that did not materialize. It was postponed to September, November, until the national conference came and the new leadership was elected. The newly elected Secretary General, Fikile Mbalula, also announced March, but the date that he announced at the time was that of the Easter weekend, and the provincial committee said that the SG might have erred there, so they will ask for a postponement by a week. But up until now, only now the conference is set to sit. But it looks like even the first day of this conference is characterized by the delays that have characterized this conference all along. So the main crux or the bone of contention or the primary reason this conference has not been sitting was the fact that the ANC in the Western Cape could not meet the 70% threshold which is needed to sit a conference.
Yeah.
A 70% threshold is about 284 in the context of the Western Cape. That must be in good standing. Those are branches that seat their branch general meetings at least once in 2 months. You must have all the members with all the paid up membership that are appropriate or proportionate to the number of members that are on the paper. But the leadership of the ANC did come out to say it looks like they have members who are paper based when they need to sit down with their provincial with their branch or regional conferences. They do not see the members on the ground, and we see that again here playing out today. 12 hours later, the conference still has not started.
Yeah. Actually, I do understand that there was going to be quite a lot of, or what we are expecting rather, a lot of talk on and discussions around the internal issues that the party faces in the province, in the Western Cape. Can you paint a picture for us about, what are some of those issues that the ANC would be having in the Western Cape?
Indeed, you'd remember that this structure that is leading the Western Cape at the moment is an interim provincial committee, which was appointed in 2019. It was not an elected committee. It was appointed after the structure of the ANC was disbanded in 2019. Some of the reasons that were given at the time was the factional battles that were playing out in the public, and also the poor showing at the polls of 2019. And then the ANC National Executive Committee, which is the highest decision-making body between conferences, decided to disband that structure and elect an interim provincial committee, which was led by Mr. Lerumo Kalago, whom we understand is also a contesting candidate in this particular conference. Ronald Nomalunga was the coordinator who was acting in the place of the Secretary General, in the absence of Secretary General, but he has since been elected in the NEC additional members from the national conference which happened in Nazareth. So this is a province which has been plagued by problems, which has been plagued by scandals. So hence they are saying that this conference is held under the theme of rebuilding and renewing this organization. Hence they were saying even though it is an elective conference, they will try and focus on the discussions. They will try and focus on policy formulation to try and find ways to rebuild rebuild and reform the ANC in this particular province. We understand that an IPC of the ANC, as according to their constitution, is supposed to convene or act in operation for only 9 months, but it's been about 4 years since that IPC was elected, since 2019. Each time had lapsed, but it was renewed so that it can go to a national conference.
Yeah, you raised a few names there, and maybe that's where I should pick up there from where you left off. Let's talk about some of those leaders who indeed are contesting at this time, perhaps names that we would be very familiar with, and also, which, this is something that generally comes up about the credibility of the leaders contesting for certain positions within the various conferences. I think that's something that's often discussed. So maybe you can talk to us about that.
Indeed, a reputation of each and every leader or a member that has been elected or nominated always comes into question. For the chairmanship position, we understand that in the provinces, they do not have the president position because already the party has a president on the national structure. So for the chairmanship position, we do have Mr. Delegates, whom you'll know as the chairperson of the Section 194 inquiry, which is investigating the fitness to hold office of Busisiwe Mkhwebane. He is contesting that position with Cameron Dagmo, who is currently a leader of the provincial caucus or legislature here in the province, in the Western Cape. Also, we have Mr. Lerumo Kalago, whom I mentioned earlier on, who is the current convener of this outgoing PEC, and also another member who will be contesting that position. And then also for the secretary, provincial secretary position, we have the former Hawks head, Mr. Anwar Dramat, who has also had his own infightings within the party, was also have his own court cases which were eventually thrown out. He's also vying for that provincial secretary position. Ms. Thandimani Givana, who replaced Ronald Nomalunga as a convener, is also contesting that particular position. And also Ms. Nomi Kondlo, who is the head of policy for the ANC, is also contesting that particular position. So those are the names of high-profile people who will be contesting those particular two positions. But if I can just show you this particular venue, I see some of the delegates coming from lunchtime. They are slowly trickling in now, finally coming inside the plenary room. They are going to sit accordingly with their chairs or their particular branches. We see there's Women's League, and also the alliance partners are here. There's 6 regions in total in the Western Cape: the West Coast region, the Southern Cape, Central Karoo, the city of Cape Town, which is the metro of Cape Town, and you also have the Cape Winelands and the Overberg region. Those are the 6 regions which will be here, which will constitute about 90% of the voters of this particular conference. And then the 10% will be made by the league, the Veterans League, the Youth League, and also the Women's League as well. And we also have alliance partners who are non-voting delegates who will be here as well to just be able to witness this particular conference here today. We see members are slowly trickling in. It's going to be seen if whether the 650 total voting delegates will finally be here, as well as the 50 non-voting delegates. We are waiting to see if they will come in here.
All right, well, it looks like it's going to be a late night for you, Atule. Let's catch up later on then. And certainly, of course, Atule Joka will keep his ear to the ground for us. As you see there, he is indeed live for us there at the ANC's 9th Provincial Conference, which, as you can see, has been delayed, has been marred by delays throughout the day.